Zoey's new pet problem. It was a bright Saturday afternoon in Willowbrook, and the whole town felt warm and cheerful. The streets were busy with Elderbrook students enjoying their free weekend, walking around with snacks, shopping bags, and excited voices. The air smelled like cinnamon pastries from Sweet Hollow, and somewhere in the distance, a street musician played soft flute music. At a small table outside the Silver Goblet, three familiar faces sat together, trying to relax after a long week of classes. Adrian Blackwood was reading the menu with great concentration, as if choosing a sandwich was a life-or-death decision. Sebastian Crow was lazily stirring his pumpkin juice, like he might fall asleep any moment, and Zoey Whitemore was staring at both of them with her chin in her hands, looking dramatic. Next to Adrian, his black cat Finks sat proudly on a chair, her yellow eyes half closed as if she owned the whole cafe. On the ground beside Sebastian's feet, a tiny tiger cub with golden fur was chewing on his bootlace like it was the best toy in the world. A few people walking by stopped to admire the animals, whispering things like, "So cute," or "I want one too." Zoey sighed loudly. "Unbelievable. You two have magical pets, and I have nothing." Sebastian smirked. "Maybe that's a good thing. You'd probably lose it in the first hour." "I would not," Zoey protested. "I'd be a wonderful pet owner." Adrian chuckled. "You said that about the plant you got last year. It caught fire." "That was not my fault," Zoey said quickly. "It was allergic to sunlight." Sebastian raised an eyebrow. "Zoey, plants are not allergic to sunlight." "This one was," she insisted. Before anyone could argue, something small and fluffy ran across the street, a round blue creature with tiny wings. It squeaked happily and jumped right onto Zoey's lap. Her eyes widened. "Oh, my stars! Look at it! It's adorable!" Some students nearby gasped when they saw it, even if you took out notebooks to sketch it. Sebastian raised an eyebrow. "What is that? A flying blueberry?" Adrian leaned closer. "I think it's a puffling. They're harmless. Mostly. They live in the forest near the river. People say they like soft music and sweet smells." Zoey hugged it instantly. "Then it's perfect. I'm naming her Bubbles." But as soon as she said the name, the creature's wings began to sparkle. Before anyone could react, Bubbles sneezed, and a cloud of pink smoke exploded around them. When the smoke cleared, all three students were standing on the roof of the Silver Goblet. A couple eating soup inside screamed when they saw three teenagers suddenly appear above them. Sebastian blinked. "Okay, I'm done with your pet, Zoey." Adrian looked around in shock. "How did we even get up here?" "Magic sneeze?" Zoey suggested weakly, holding Bubbles like a baby. Finks hissed and jumped onto Adrian's shoulder for safety, while the tiger cub chased its own tail dangerously close to the edge of the roof. Sebastian grabbed it quickly. "Great. My tiger's going to fall off a pub. That'll look fantastic in the school report." A group of younger students on the street below pointed up at them, amazed. "Are they practicing teleportation magic?" one asked. "No," Sebastian called down. "We're practicing not dying." Zoey tried to calm Bubbles. "It's okay, sweetie. Don't sneeze again." Too late. Another big achoo! This time the smoke was bright blue. They suddenly appeared in the middle of Willowbrook's fountain. Cold water splashed over everyone nearby. People screamed and jumped back. A little girl laughed and clapped. Finks yowled, the tiger cub tried to swim in circles, and Zoey sat in the water holding Bubbles above her head like a trophy. "Well," she said, "at least she's waterproof." Adrian groaned. "We're going to get detention for this." Sebastian pushed wet hair off his face. "We're already famous. Might as well wave to the crowd." Some students actually waved back. But then came a familiar voice. Mr. Blackwood, Miss Whitemore, Mr. Crow. Professor Halloway stood at the edge of the fountain, her cloak dripping from the splashes. She looked like a storm cloud ready to explode. Zoey smiled nervously. "Good afternoon, Professor. Would you like to meet Bubbles?" Halloway blinked. "The creature that teleported 3 students onto a roof and into a fountain?" Sebastian muttered, "Technically, yes." People around the fountain snickered. Halloway sighed deeply, the kind of sigh that meant she regretted becoming a teacher. "You 3 will dry every broom in the school's storage tonight. And Miss Whitemore?" "Yes, Professor?" Zoey asked with her sweetest smile. "No more pets without permission." Zoey pouted. "But she's harmless." Bubbles sneezed again. A tiny rainbow appeared over the fountain. Even Halloway had to pause for a moment before saying, "Mostly harmless, I suppose." Someone in the crowd applauded. As the professor walked away, shaking water from her shoes, the 3 friends burst out laughing. Sebastian shook his head. "Your pet is chaos." Adrian smiled. "She fits right in." Zoey hugged Bubbles proudly. "See? She's perfect." At that exact moment, the puffling squeaked and then hiccuped a small fireball that gently warmed their faces. Sebastian groaned, "Ugh, and now she's on fire. Wonderful." Zoey giggled. "Don't worry, she's just excited." A shopkeeper shouted, "No fireballs near my store!" and shook a broom at them. "Right, we should go," Adrian said quickly. The 3 friends trudged back towards the castle, dripping wet, embarrassed, but laughing the whole way. Students stepped aside to let them pass, whispering things like, "Did they really teleport onto a roof?" Or, "Is that creature breathing fire?" Or, "Should someone tell the headmaster?" It was loud, chaotic, and ridiculous. In other words, just another ordinary day for Elderbrook's most famous troublemakers.